Hi guys, and welcome to Isaac's first race weekend as promised in the last video. And as we watch his fastest qualifying lap in this timed qualifying session, let me give you a brief rundown of the day. There was a 5-minute practice session earlier on. We now get 6 or 7 minutes in this timed qualifying to set your best laps, which will give you your start positions for heat 1. The finish positions in heat 1 give you your starting grid for heat 2, and the finishing positions in heat 2 give you starting position for the main event. There are Rotax Junior Max drivers out in the same session, but I'm only going to be concentrating on the X30 Miami drivers, as you'll see in a moment the results for this time quali, because that's all that he's racing against really. The Rotax engines are slightly more powerful and they're slightly quicker. So there you go, 49.6 for this, which puts him, of the X30 drivers, it puts him 6 out of the 7, which isn't bad. We're not expecting anything from this weekend. It was just to give him an experience of the race format, so that's not bad for his first race weekend. Slightly slower than last week, but we are on different tyres, which take longer to kind of get ready for race temperature. So out of the 7 Miami drivers, X30 drivers, he's starting 6. Those are the 12 Rotax drivers that have gone ahead on their little heat 1. I'm not quite so sure why there's this long delay before the X30 set off. We quite understood that, but this delay here, added to what you're going to see in a moment, really spoiled Isaac's heat 1. So we've just come to the end of the formation lap. They're going to slowly starting to get into the grid positions now for the rolling start. They have to be in their position by this post here, post 5. So Isaac's 6th, and he's got Henry in kart 31 just behind him in 7th on the right hand side. So here we go, we can start racing, but you can't overtake till the line, which is now. Here we go, so keep your eyes peeled on what happens next at the next chicane. So Henry's just nipped past him there on that top hairpin, and yikes, he went in too deep, hard on the brakes, spun him round. Isaac had nowhere to go, and this second delay here of another 20 seconds. They let Henry go. He disappears round. Isaac tries to get back on track because he doesn't want to miss the chicane, not supposed to, but he didn't realise that he was being let through. And now Henry's 5 seconds up the road, and he's now got the Rotax drivers literally a couple of seconds behind him, and he spends the rest of the session getting blue flagged. So his position for heat 2 is the same, 6th. Andrew Farrell there, only completing 6 of the laps. So he does start ahead of Andrew, but like I said, he spends all this session getting those blue flags. So heat 2, again, he's starting in 6th out of the X30s, but they're actually right on top of the Rotax this one, so there's no one within like 40 seconds behind him if the same should happen again. Let's see how this one develops. Now he's actually gained a place here. He's got ahead of that Henry, so Henry and Andrew are now slightly behind him. We're going to this second chicane. But again, he hasn't really got, pardon the pun, he hasn't got to grips with these tyres. They've taken a lot longer to get set in for the race. And he's oversteering, you see, on these corners, which allows Henry and now Andrew to get past him. So he's now last on this opening lap of heat 2. But like I said, we came to this weekend no expectations. We just wanted to give him the experience of the day, see how the format works, and obviously give him some more practice. His tyres are not giving him a great deal of grip. In the corners, he's still getting some oversteer. But he's hanging on in there. Oh, there's kart 14 there, just coming back on track. One of the Rotax drivers. Kart 14's had a little bit of an off. Don't know what happened. And two other karts there, a bit slow around that final hairpin. So he's still with the main pack. Oh, and he's got a good exit here. Is he going to have a look down the inside? No, not this time. Just sets back and steps in behind him. Oh, now that was Phoebe in kart 16. Had a little incident there in the chicane. So I think that puts him back up to 6th out of the X30 drivers now. The Rotax 14 just again. The Rotaxes are a slightly more powerful engine, combined with most of the drivers having more experience than Isaac. And you see he's even got past the next 30 drivers at the way as well. Oh, that was 31. Henry involved in the incident there. There we go. If you look carefully now, I didn't realise this first time, neither maybe did you. Actually, there's two karts there, and Henry is actually up on his front wheels are in the air there, so there's two drivers coming together. Now we've skipped a couple of laps now. The next laps he lost a little bit of ground and nothing much happened. So we've skipped up to lap 7, and that was kart 7, which I believe was one of the other Rotax drivers. That's not a position for Isaac. It just goes to show that to do anything in a race, the first thing you've got to do is not make mistakes and finish the race. So he's been doing that now. He's relatively mistake free, and the pace will come. And then we skipped ahead again to the end of halfway through lap 10, and we see there that's Phoebe in kart 16. She's obviously regained Isaac over those 7 laps, where she's spanning lap 3, and she's been racing now for a couple of years, so that's all good. He hasn't got that experience behind him yet, but he'll get there, I've no doubt. Have a look at the final standings. He crossed the line just to confirm his position, but not a bad opening day. A little unfortunate in the first heat, but he's mistake free and he has completed all the laps he's able to. So I think with Henry behind him. Well, I don't know, I really lost count, and there was a driver there we didn't even know who it was, so let's have a look as he crosses the line and we'll see the results pop up. There we go. So yeah, he was finishing 5th. Oh, Oliver was behind, so it must have been Oliver maybe involved in that incident with Henry in that first chicane. So there we go. So he's now going to start the final in 5th, but hold your horses, keep watching, because the final actually doesn't take place. So the air ambulance had to be called because unfortunately a marshal decided to cross the track during the Mini X30 Mini Max's final, and unfortunately got knocked over. He was conscious, but they had to call this air ambulance out, and this delay of 2 hours and the feelings of the other marshals meant the rest of the finals didn't go ahead. So I hope he's alright, but thank you very much for watching as always, and I hope to see you in the next video where you may actually get to race a final.